Hey there folks. So in this video what we're going to have a look at is how we can use compatibility of skeletons in order to save ourselves some time when it comes to having multiple asset packs, multiple animation packs that all use the exact same skeleton but they all reference different actors. So here I've got a whole bunch of project actors and assets that have been added in here. So I've got an animation pack which has monster animations, zombie animations. I've got the third person content as well, which includes a UE5 Manny and a UE4 Mannequin. I've got a scared mocap pack, and also I've got some Synty packs. So I've got this Polygon Horror Mansion. Now, the great thing about Synty is that they have started updating their skeletons to have a UE4 version inside of them, which is obviously helping a lot for retargeting of animations. But we're going to have a look at how we can take each of these and combine them together. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come up to this top left corner here where it says search content, and I'm just going to do a search. First of all, if I go to animation and search for skeleton, and I've got the content folder, so the root of my whole project selected, and I've done skeleton. You can see here, these are all of the skeletons that exist through the whole of my project. And if we were to hover over them, you can see where they actually exist. So this one here, this is Quinn. So this is the UE5 version, but this one here is a UE4 mannequin. And if I just followed that path, characters, mannequin, UE4, that's the default one that comes in the third person project. This one here is the one that comes in the mannequin monster thing. I've renamed it to mannequin monster so I can see the difference. And you can see that those are exactly the same skeleton, even though they are obviously now using different animations in different folders. And if I was to read along here, you can see we've also got this one here, which is the scared animation pack, and this one here, which is the scared one as well, but this is a retargeted different one. So each of these, and also actually this one here, this is a blue one, and this is using the zombie pack. So every single one of these is using the exact same skeleton structure. And we can check that if we were to open one of these up. So I've got this one, and let's say I open up the blue one from the zombie. I'll put those on top of each other, and what we could do here is we could start coming and comparing these with each other. The only difference, we can see there is a difference here. The only difference that we've got here is a socket. So we'll look at sockets in future videos, but there's only just a socket, which is an attachment here for us potentially actually kind of attach weapons and things to the hands. A zombie doesn't really need those at the moment, but the actual structure of the skeleton is exactly the same. So if I was to open up this skeleton, you can see this skeleton here has just these things in its asset browser. It has a jog forward, and also it has access to this blend space that I've previously made, which is using some horror animations. If I was to go and have a look at the scared one, for example, the scared one has just access to just these third person ones. There's no actual animations that are coming in from anywhere else, and I think this one is a scared one as well. So this is the one that actually comes with the scared pack, and you can see it has access to all of these mocapped scared animations. So I can double click on one of these and we can see what that looks like. Here we go, scared animations, walking away. But if I was to go down here, you can see all of these have SCR underscore. They are only the mannequin animations for the scared pack, whereas this one here is all of the third person stuff. So idle, walk, run, basic locomotion. Now, how do I get those to both use exactly the same thing? Well, what I've got to do, if I know that they are compatible, if I know that they're the same thing, I come up here to Window, I click on Asset Details, and in here you'll see we've got an option for compatible skeletons. And rather than having to go through and retarget and change every single one of those animations to run on the same skeleton, if we know that they're compatible with each other because they're the same, we can actually go into here, add an extra option, and I can now go through here and say these are the animation skeletons that are compatible with this. So we know this one here has just these base animations for locomotion. It's called mannequin underscore skeleton scared, and let's go with the horror one because we know the horror one is a different one. So skeleton monster. So I'm going to make this compatible with skeleton monster. But if I just go and have a quick look at skeleton monster has all these anim underscore monster animations, no locomotion options. If I were to go back to the one we've got here, you can see even though it is now compatible, so I'm just going to go to the asset details, even though it's compatible with that, it doesn't immediately update. What we need to do is close it, and then when you reopen it, which I believe was this one, now you can see we have got this one here, skeleton scared, all the anim monster and the third person animations on there. So it's a little bit of an extra step. We can go through and we can go through these asset details and we can say, okay, well, I want you to be compatible with Skeleton Monster. I also want you to be compatible with, and we can go through and add each of these on. And even if we do have multiple Synty packs, multiple mocap packs, multiple different references of where these things have come from. So you can see actually that's the same one as the one I'm in. Let's have a look. Skeleton Monster we've got, Mannequin Skeleton we've got. So we've got the SK version and the UE4 version. Any others we can just go through. I think this one also is compatible. And if I open and close that one, so let's just close it down and reopen it. Now you can see I have all the animation monsters, all the third person, all the scared ones, and probably I could even go and add in all of the zombie ones as well. So let's just add one more. And there's the mannequin for the zombie. So I'm just going to close it and reopen it. And now it's got animation monster, all the zombie animations. So you can see here, it still uses, and the default uses that skeletal mesh, but this one now has access to all of them in that asset browser. And that's really important because if we want to go into things like our animation blueprints, we're only going to find animations that are linked to that skeleton. So now all of these are available for this mannequin here to use. One thing we might find is when we're looking at things like character models, characters, animation packs and things like that on the marketplace, if you scroll down in all their different options, we've got this technical detail section. And one of the options you might see is this rigged to the epic skeleton? And if it says yes, what that is going to suggest to you that is there's a lot of reusable or the same structure of bones. That means that potentially we're going to be able to map these, even though it's going to come with a skeletal mesh and a skeleton, we're going to be able to remap all of this stuff very, very easily over into what we have on the main default mannequin. So let's just go and have a look at how we can actually do that. So we don't have to do retargeting. We can just replace the skeleton with the one we already have. So I'm back in Unreal now, and looking at this, what I've got is I've got the monsters animation pack. And if I actually click on these animations, based on the other content of this video, we can see obviously we've got these blue mannequins. And we know that the blue is actually the one that was defaulted from the zombie anims pack. So if I was to go and have a look over here, all of the ones inside of the zombie pack are using the blue. And that's because what I've done is I've actually said, instead of using the skeletal mesh here and the skeleton that are existing for the monster, I've come over here and I've told this instead to have the zombie one assigned to it. And I've done that by literally selecting the animation, right clicking and going replace skeleton. We'll look at retarget in the future, but replace, we can associate this animation with a completely different skeleton. That's great if, again, we know these are exactly the same. So I'll go replace. It's going to ask me what would I like to assign this to. So here, let's just say I select the skeleton monster to go back. When I press OK, you can see it goes back and gives me that option. Now I'm going to go back to our zombie one, and you can see it goes back to using that instead. Now, there's a couple of issues we might have to look at in here. If I was to open this up, you can see it's using the mannequin zombie. So we want to make sure that if we're using any previews, the preview mesh that it's using over here is the one that's assigned to that skeleton. That's going to obviously break some dependencies. Here we've got our skeleton. We make sure that's using the zombie one as well. And we just come over and start having a look at all of the other things that we've got in this folder. So here I am inside the meshes folder, and we can see here we've got the mesh. I'm actually in the scared one here, because what I've done is in the scared one, I've gone through and done the exact same process. If I hover over, you can see they're all now using mannequin, skeleton, zombie. Well, that means that if I was actually look at this skeleton, what I could do is I could right click it and I could go to the reference viewer, and we can actually see, is there anything else that's actually using this? The only thing that's actually using this right now is this mannequin over here, which means I can actually delete this, and that is the only reference that's actually going to be broken. That skeleton scared. So anywhere where that's being used, and I can get rid of that and force delete it, and I'm not going to have any problems because all of these animations now are all running off of the actual mannequin zombie. So bit by bit, that means that what I can do is I can actually go to content and search for skeleton. I can start reducing these down. So I can say, let's just auto assign each one of these to say, you know, let's all use the exact same skeleton, and that will get rid of this one, this one, this one, and eventually I'll just have one UE4 or UE5 skeleton that I can use for that. Now, The last question we might have is what about UE5? Well, we do have the sk_mannequin over here, which if I go and show it here in our folder view and just go find it, this is the one that is being used for Manny and Quinn, but actually inside of all of these character folders that come with a third person, if we were to go and have a look in the meshes and rigs folders here, you'll see there's actually some retargeters that exist for allowing us to take UE4 animations to UE5 and UE5 to UE4. So it's not going to be too much of a problem, because what we'll actually be able to do is get any of these animations working on UE4 and UE5, because Epic already give us these retargeters already. And in a future video, we're going to have a look at how to make our own retargeters for these. Okay, so hopefully that helps everybody. If you are bringing in lots and lots of animation packs, you can use this process to allow you to retarget animations or replace the skeleton, not actually retarget, but replace the skeleton that is being used, and allow you to consolidate lots and lots of animations onto a single skeleton in your project. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to access more of my Unreal Engine content.